Since Krunker's release in 2018, movement was always prevalent in gameplay. Ever since before slide hopping, there was still movement and trend in the community. Slide hopping or not, every era of movement has always been led by the most difficult jumps at the time. This is the history of the hardest jumps in Krunker. When the game first released, it had no slide hopping. There was no knife, and the only weapon to do parkour with was the pistol. The jump height was overall lower than it is right now, and it was much more difficult to get from point A to point B than it is right now. So as a result, most of the early jumps are not that interesting, but once early slide hopping picked up, there was kind of a little bit of a movement trend. Some jumps like this were completed by Jump Shot and Rush. Little Town Pillars jump, it's kind of a very historic jump. It's not very hard anymore, but it was kind of known as the hardest jump back then. There's also the Oasis high wall jump, which was known for quite a long time. Eventually, there became some other jumps like this cool Sandstorm one and other stuff like that. In 2021, the jump list was established. Jump list is basically a list of very hard jumps, and it gives you guidance in how to complete them, and it shows a video and basic stuff like that. So it has a bunch of jumps listed there, and at that point, a lot of jumps were being conceptualized, but none were completed. Many jumps were in the works, but the first of the bunch to be taken down was Sub-Zero Jump. Sub-Zero Jump was a jump conceptualized by just one weeb. It featured the Sub-Zero parkour, but the goal was to skip straight to the end from the shore. The jump was first completed by Bambino on the 20th of December 2020. This jump was completed a mere 5 days after it being conceptualized. The next conceptualized jump to be taken out was Kanji Jump. On the 6th of January 2021, also taken out by Bambino, Kanji Jump is completed and is one of the most well-known jumps to date. It has been completed by over 100 different people. A disclaimer though, Kanji Jump is now ranked below Sub-Zero Jump in difficulty. Jumps were few and far between. A very historic jump with a lot of history behind it, which I have made a video about, was about to be taken out however. Oasis Impossible Jump was a jump conceptualized by me and Jump Shot. The jump was pretty simple, except for in the middle there is a very tight corridor between two pillars, and if you make it through that corridor, you're either extremely lucky or extremely skilled. Landing on the ending pillar is just as precise as it looks, and jumping through the final corridor is pretty easy. This jump was a huge battle between me and Auspicious to see who would get the jump first. After a map was created to see who could complete the jump with a speed booster first, Auspicious was able to take it out one time, and then a second time. On January 23rd of 2021, Auspicious would be the first person to complete Oasis Impossible Jump. This jump would be a lot harder than any other jump that had been done before, so it would be pretty hard to beat. Jumps were few and far between to be harder than Oasis Impossible Jump. It was not only the difficulty, but also the lack of ideas. But after Freight Jump on Old Freight was discovered, another mindless month of grinding took it to be completed. And who better to complete it than Auspicious? On the 29th of May, Auspicious would complete Freight Jump, which at the time was known as the hardest jump by far. Another disclaimer though, through the re-ranking process, Freight Jump currently sits at just under the difficulty of Oasis Impossible Jump. That time, it was thought to be the hardest. So, where could we really go from there? Would a new hardest jump ever be completed? Many joking jumps would spring up in the Jump Discord server, involving Oasis Possible within them. It was mostly joking since Oasis Possible was so hard that nobody was confident enough for that process. At the time, less than 5 people had completed the jump, and not many people were thinking about the next hardest jump. But Atslord, a competitive player, would show up to the jump scene with a video of him completing Oasis Impossible Jump straight away. To him, the jump was nothing. He struggled with most jump more than Oasis Impossible Jump. One of the joking jumps to be put out there was Mantle Connector. Mantle was an easy jump, just easier than Kanji Jump, being ranked as a 6th difficulty on the list. But the end of Mantle fit with the start of Oasis Impossible Jump, so why not try to chain them together? This would be known as Mantle Connector, but it wasn't the only jump in the works. Statue Jump was a jump made in a video I made a while back about slowing down the game and doing movement, and then speeding it back up in editing. In that video, I did the beginning of Statue Jump, and I really forgot about it for a while, until Atsalord, Bambino, and TG Ferrer would start attempting it. On the 13th of August 2021, Moon, a 60th FPS player, would get a close attempt to Mantle Connector. A few hours later, Atsalord would also get a close attempt. In the same day, Bambino would get 2 close attempts to Statue Jump, and TG Ferrer would get 1 close attempt to Statue Jump. But just a few hours later, Atsalord would do this. Athlord completed Mantle Connector, and this was the new hardest jump to be completed. On the trend of joking Oasis jumps, an idea came to mind. What if we did Oasis Impossible jump, went through the pillars, and then did a 180 and came back? This jump would be known as double pillars, because of the hardest part of the jump, getting through the tiny gap of 2 walls, needing to be done twice. Just 1 month later, Athlord would be attempting it. With Athlord tearing through Oasis Impossible jump like butter, he would be the obvious candidate. After many days of grinding, he would get some close attempts, and on September 16th, Athlord would complete double pillars, the hardest jump at the time. Before I get to the final entry, I have a few honorable mentions. In the string of 2021, Oasis Possible V2 was the hardest jump completed. I was the first person to complete it, and this jump was removed from the list due to it basically being an extension of Oasis Possible jump. Another honorable mention is Statue Jump. The first completion of Statue 1 jump was by Athlord, and it's ranked higher than Mantle Connector on the jump list, but it was completed after double pillars, so it was never the hardest jump. Also to be mentioned is Thor Jump. Thor Jump was completed for the first time by Accounts Broke in November of 2021, but it is just ranked under double pillars by 2 points, meaning it was also never the hardest jump.
If you want to see what it is.
Never fucking mind, let's go! Oh, baby! I am so good at this fucking game! Let's go!
Okay, now, on to the hardest jump of all time. But first, some backstory. Back in 2020, when Auspicious first joined the Jump Movement Discord, he posted a fail of a ramp-boosted jump on Sandstorm. He would then later complete this jump, and it would be named Ausp Jump. The completion did not count, however, since he used scroll boosting, and glitches aren't allowed on the competitive jump list. Accounts Broke would be the first to complete the jump without glitches, and the jump would be ranked 15 difficulty on the jump list. At the time when Accounts Broke completed this, the hardest jump was Oasis Impossible jump, which was 55 difficulty. What was important about this jump, however, was a new jump would come straight from its origin. Ausp Connector was added to the concept section of the jump list just under Thor Jump, but soon people would start to realize how hard the jump really was, with Accounts Broke having a folder of piles of Ausp Jump completions in an attempt to do Ausp Connector. The jump grew longer looking for a victor. I would try the jump and be close, but never complete it. Athlord would do the same, still no luck. Accounts Broke, the original person who completed Ausp Jump, would continue grinding it, and on the 28th of October 2021, Accounts Broke would complete Ausp Connector. Still known to be the hardest jump to this day. So this is where the jump list stands. Jumps I talked about in this video in order: Sub-Zero Impossible at 12, Kanji at 10, Oasis Impossible at 55, Mantle Connector at 75, Double Pillars at 95, and Ausp Connector at 100. This has been the full extended history of the hardest jump in Chrono. Make sure to look down in the description and for any resources you need, and join the Jump Discord. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Bye.